Hi class, this video is going to show you how to trim your models in order to make whitening trays at your office. So what you'll have with you is you're going to have your models that you poured up winter term of your teeth. Either you or your partner poured these models up, but either way they should be your teeth. And what you're going to do is you're going to trim these a specific way in order to make your whitening trays. It's quite a bit different than what we've done in lab previously. So what you're going for is a model that's going to end up looking like this. So you can see that we've trimmed off quite a bit, and really all that's left is the teeth and then a little bit of the gums around the edge. And you're going to be trimming both your maxillary and mandibular models to look like this. So it's just going to be a horseshoe shape for both. So if it's the mandibular, you're going to be trimming out any material that's in the tongue area, and if it's the maxillary, you're going to be actually removing the palate. So it's just a horseshoe shape. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how to go from this to this. All right, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do is take your models and you're gonna wanna soak them in a bowl of water for about 10 minutes or so. You can go longer than 10 minutes, but what this is gonna do is this is gonna allow your model to absorb a little bit of water, and your trimming is gonna go a lot faster. As you saw with my example, we're gonna be trimming a lot of material off of this. So as you can imagine, that's gonna take a little bit of time. So I will go ahead and soak this for about 10 minutes, and then after it's done soaking, I'll just shake the excess water off, and then we can start our trimming. All right, so one note before we get started. You want to make sure the base of your model is nice and flat. If your model is not flat on the base, you want to use your model trimmer to trim the base flat before you get started so that your model will sit flat on the tabletop there. So now we'll go ahead and turn on the water and turn on our model grinder. All right, so we're gonna start by just trimming some of the bulk off of the back and the edges. I like the back to be nice and straight, similar to how we've trimmed in lab. So between those back molars, I'm gonna trim some of the bulk off, and then I'm gonna try to trim a nice flat edge on it. I'm gonna go around all the edges of the model. See how I'm just turning the model on the table as I'm trimming? And so I'm just trying to get some of the bulk off of the edges. And I'm going to keep going, just trimming more of the bulk off. Now you'll see that on the back of my model, I do try to maintain a flat edge, and that'll be pretty critical once we get into actually trimming the base later on. Remember to rinse your model as you go. You can see that nice flat base on the back. Continue trimming the edges until you've trimmed most of the bulk off. Now you can see I've got most of the bulk off from around the edges. The base is nice and flat, and I'm going to actually take that base and I'm going to start trimming the base. Now remember, my base was already flat, so I'm not trying to get a flat base, I'm actually trying to trim the base off at this point. Remember our example, we are trimming a lot of material away here. So now you see I'm holding the base up against the trimmer, and I'm just using my fingers to, usually I just apply my thumbs. You can see how I'm kind of bracing myself on the trimmer itself, and I'm putting pressure with my thumbs onto the molars, and this is going to help get that base to really trim down for us. Now you see how there's like a hole that started to form on the edge there? That's okay, because again, we're trying to trim that material away. So when you see those holes start to form, just know that that is okay. We want that material to get trimmed away. And you'll see that parts of it will actually kind of start to chip, and again, that is okay. So you can see we've got a number of holes that have started to form. We've got some areas that have chipped off. And we're going to keep going now, just trimming that base. All right, you can see that quite a bit of material has started to be removed. I'm continuing to just apply pressure with my thumbs. You can see that's the big piece that came out of the center, that tongue space, and that's okay. Remember, we're looking for this to be a horseshoe shape. A lot of debris created, so you'll want to continuously rinse. Now you see we've got a pretty good edge. We've trimmed quite a bit off. The edges are looking good. And now we want to get this big piece off of the front. So to do that, I'm going to hold it really, really steady in my hands, and I'm going to place my hands fulcruming on the table as I kind of grind that area off of the front. I'm trying to be really careful not to hit the teeth at all, because remember, we don't want to ruin the anatomy of the teeth. We're going to need those for our tray. So you can see how I am resting my hands on the table of the grinder as I do that. Now we want to trim a little bit of the excess around the back. So we don't want any big bulky areas around those back molars. So I'm just going to take those and trim the edges up. Rinse it really good. And there you have it. This is our completely trimmed model for a bleach tray.